Don't buckle under pressure after Trump's tariffs. Tharoor says India must negotiate hard. Congress MP Shashi Tharoor has said India must not buckle under and negotiate hard with the United States on trade despite US President Donald Trump's 25% tariff announcement on India's exports and a penalty for importing oil from Russia. In a column for NDTV, Tharoor also took a dig at the US by calling Pakistan Trump's current favorite. Nanan Tharoor has strongly criticized Trump's remarks on India's trade and foreign policy. He argues that Trump's comments reflect a transactional and oversimplified worldview, where trade deficits are treated as personal insults and independent foreign policies are seen as threats. Tharoor has rejected Trump's complaints about Indian tariffs and trade barriers, calling them tired arguments that ignore the economic realities of developing nations like India. Tharoor has also pointed out Trump's tactics to weaken India's long-standing strategic relationship with Russia. Tharoor asserts that India's ties with Russia, especially in defense and energy, are rooted in national interest and not meant to provoke any country. He has warned against attempts to force India into exclusive geopolitical alliances, saying such pressure undermines India's strategic autonomy and sovereign decision-making. Nanan even as Tharoor says the tariffs will hit the country, he adds India must not bow down. Tharoor warns that the US tariffs pose a threat to India's export economy, valued at nearly $90 billion. He highlights that Indian exporters face steeper tariffs than competitors like Vietnam and Indonesia, or not to mention Trump's current favorite, Pakistan, putting key sectors like gems and jewelry, auto components, steel, and electronics at risk. This could lead to job losses, particularly in MSMEs, and deter companies planning to ship from China to India. However, Tharoor argues that yielding to this pressure would be a strategic error. He insists India must uphold its right to an independent foreign policy and resist being bullied into abandoning its national interests. Nanan Shashi Tharoor has outlined a four-pronged strategy in response to US tariff pressures. First, he calls for diplomatic firmness, asserting that India's foreign policy must remain sovereign and guided by national interest, not external coercion. Trade talks should continue sincerely, but India must protect sensitive sectors like agriculture and data sovereignty, he says. Second, Tharoor urges diversification of export markets to reduce overdependence on the US, suggesting deeper trade ties with the EU, UK, Japan, ASEAN, and the Global South. Third, he emphasizes strengthening domestic competitiveness through better logistics, skill development, and infrastructure, enabling Indian exports to remain viable despite external challenges. Swipe left for next video. Lastly, he advocates for pursuing legal remedies where possible, including action through the WTO and other international forums, while continuing to promote a fair, rules-based global trading system. Tharoor has stressed resilience, self-confidence, and strategic autonomy in navigating economic and geopolitical pressures without compromising India's core interests. Latest blogs